Welcome back. Well, border crossings for the month of March now show the most secure border in modern U.S. history. Customs and Border Patrol reporting just over 7,000 recorded encounters at our southern border last month. That's over 1,100 fewer than in February, and a dramatic drop compared to the Biden-era monthly average of over 155,000 a month. A Department of Homeland Security official told the New York Post 113,000 migrants were arrested. More than 100,000 deportations have taken place since President Trump has taken office. Joining me now is the chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, Tennessee Congressman Mark Green. Mr. Chairman, great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Maria.
Your reaction to these numbers and the impact. What do you say about this?
Well, I'm ecstatic, actually. We finally secured our southern border, and President Trump did what he promised during the campaign. It was a huge reason for his victory, winning all the swing states, et cetera. We've gone over that before, but I mean, it's all about delivering on his promises and securing our nation. I mean, 7,000, that's pretty impressive. And what I really like to tell the Democrats, they talked about this global migration crisis that was thrust onto Biden and Mayorkas. Look, they created that crisis by flinging the doors, and they just proved the pull theory about immigration. And our president proved that was man-made by those two individuals. So this is great, and it's a great step forward for our country.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they could get, sidestep the fact that this was the result of their doing, leaving the border wide open and unvetted. It's pretty clear to all of us. The committee, the Homeland Security Committee, is asking Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem for any information on how the Biden administration, used mass parole programs to release migrants who met no standards for parole in the United States. I know you've been asking this. Have you heard back?
Not yet, but we ask for a lot of documents, and so we want to give them a fair amount of time. This is our team, so we want to work with them. We're not dropping big subpoenas and lots of deadlines with these guys, so we'll follow up on it. Our goal is to find out the laws that were broken in this country during the last administration to bring tons of people in. I mean, this issue of illegal immigrants voting, we know that's why the border was wide open. Merrick Garland sued, I think it was 11 states who wanted to purge their voter rolls of illegal immigrants to stop them from doing that. That proved why the border was wide open, to basically throw elections into the Democrats forever. And we need to get into the details of which laws were broken, and that's what we're doing. We're asking for the proof, particularly that those programs where they flew people directly from Venezuela into the United States. I mean, that was a clear violation of the laws of the United States. And we're going to get to the bottom of it and hold people accountable.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for that work, because it's just outrageous and how manipulative and irresponsible to have an unvetted open border just so that you can get more voters to vote for you so that you don't lose your grip on power. I mean, Wisconsin voters just
approved that. They were killing Americans.
I'm sorry?
This resulted in the death of Americans. It did kill Americans. The fentanyl, hundreds of thousands are dead because of that.
You're
the
right.
Lincoln Rileys all over this country.
That's a great point to make. Thank you for that. Wisconsin voters, meanwhile, approved a measure adding voter ID to the state constitution, and I could not be happy about that result. You are co-sponsoring with Texas Congressman Chip Roy the SAVE Act, which prohibits illegal migrants from voting in federal elections. What do you make of what Elon Musk just told us, that he and the Doge team revealed a shocking new chart showing how many millions of non-citizens received Social Security numbers during the Biden era? Watch this.
This is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Outrageous, all the way up to 2.1 million non-citizens getting Social Security numbers. I got to tell you, Mr. Chairman, when I first reported that non-citizens were getting Social Security numbers, I got slammed in the media from these Democrat lunatics, when in fact now we have the evidence. Was this all planned out? Give them Social Security numbers so that they can go vote for Democrats in the election?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of it. And of course, if they create the social services that draw people into the country, it gives the incentive for them to come. And then, of course, it's about power for the Democrats. That's all this ever was. They allowed Americans to die from fentanyl, from criminals, from Tren de Agua, and all these other, horrific cartel people, criminal organizations coming into the country. They tolerated that in order to try to empower themselves into perpetuity. I mean, that's what this was about, to shift elections and really think, too, about the census, which is still an issue because we've got all these millions of people here. The census determines how many seats are in Congress. You send those individuals to blue cities, you count them in the census, and you empower Democrats even further. That's what this is all about. It's been that from the very beginning.
Unbelievable. And with that open border and the unvetted situation, also welcomed in how many Chinese nationals? I had a guest the other day who said the number in the last couple of years, actually 178,000 Chinese nationals that have entered America. Why are they here? Who's directing them? And I'm wondering if they are backing Iran as well.
This is a massive national security problem, and you have to imagine, because these individuals, a lot of them, the vast majority, are military-aged men, many with prior service in the Chinese Communist Party and prior service in the People's Liberation Army, and they just let them into the country. It's sort of like the modus operandi of Russia and Ukraine. They sent people in, they migrated people in, and then when the assault or the invasion happened, those individuals became saboteurs. Look, if we go to defend Taiwan, this is an issue. The barge sites that will take our military to sea to potentially defend Taiwan, should we choose to do that, those could be disrupted. We know China's in our infrastructure and they're in our telecoms. Yeah. They Salt Typhoon, Volt Typhoon, all of that. You and I have talked about that before. This is a part of a concerted effort by the CCP, and the Biden administration and Alejandro Mayorkas were complicit in this, in allowing these individuals into the country.
Right. So you just ignore the fact that China is our number one adversary. Ignore the fact that they're working against the United States morning, noon, and night, from a surveillance balloon to propaganda, intellectual property theft, fentanyl, COVID. The list goes on. And you let them in and you make believe there's some Russia lie and just allow. I mean, what a national security risk and massive, situation this is, just so that they can hold on to power. I want to get your take on this intertwined relationship today between China, Iran, Russia, North Korea, because it's a little different than President Trump's first term. Now these countries are aligned. Iran's military reportedly considering a preemptive strike on a joint U.S.-UK base in the Indian Ocean. This is happening after President Trump threatened to bomb Tehran unless they agree to a nuclear deal, Mr. Chairman. So how big of a threat is this? And how do you see Iran working with China and the others, these hostile nations against the U.S.?
I understand that it's a long shot, but I do think a part of the way President Trump has managed Putin and the Ukrainian stuff is to try to create a way of putting a wedge between Russia and China. So it's sort of like fourth dimension of chess. And a lot of people are missing that. That's a really important point, because you're absolutely right. The connection between Russia, China, and Iran, that alignment, and you could probably throw in North Korea there. They're clearly a puppet of the Chinese, is bad for the world. If you go back through history and find when there were bipolar situations, whether it was in a region or globally, that wound up leading to a major conflict. So I am all for President Trump putting a wedge between Russia and China, and I'm also all for leveraging the relationship with Russia to get Iran under control. Those are very sort of higher order foreign policy things that I think are happening out of the White House right now, and they need to be, appreciated. As far as Iran goes, they've been bombing our bases in Iraq left and right. They're doing shipping through the Houthis in the Red Sea, and so we absolutely have them as an enemy. And Iran is not going to bomb an American base like that. This is all that part of it is rhetoric. That's not going to happen. That would be like a make my day kind of thing, the old Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry.
Oh, God. Yeah. Any thoughts on this Panama Canal situation, the fact that now China is stopping this deal with BlackRock for the ports?
Well, I don't think that goes through. This is going to continue to be a negotiation. BlackRock will make that happen. You
do think so? Okay. Congressman, we're going to be watching your work. We so appreciate your time this morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, Chairman Mark Green. Quick break and then